Well, hello and good morning. Good morning. Good morning. It is Tuesday, January 12th, 2021. Oh my good God. My name is Zoe Baraka. It is so wonderful to see you on here on the Dear Daughter page. And the show, as always, every Tuesday morning is To My Younger Self. What a wonderful time to just hang out with you. Listen, as always, I am unable to see you because of the software I am using. So please go ahead and say hello, say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching me from. Let me know so I can give you a shout out. It is such a wonderful day outside already. A little chilly, but we do with what God gives us, and we're very grateful as always. Today, I have an amazing woman on here with me, and I cannot wait to introduce her. Her name is Lola. Good morning, Laura. How are you, sunshine? It is so wonderful to see you. Happy New Year once again, my dear. So today, my guest storyteller is Lola. Lola is somebody I call sister friend. You know, that friend that you meet and suddenly you just click without any friction? That is the kind of friend Lola is. I call her sister also because sometimes I want to believe maybe my mother gave birth to her, or maybe her mother gave birth to me. I am not sure. In some weird, surreal world, I am sure we have met before. We've been family in somewhere, one way or another. But Lola is that kind of friend and sister to me. We met, we were trying to figure it out, probably 2008, 2009. It's been that long. We met at a house party, believe it or not, that one of my roommates was throwing. And it turns out both of us were just like, they're too young. We don't have time for this. And that is probably how we clicked. We clicked over maturity. Can I say that? Yeah, I could say that. Lola is my ride or die chick that God gave me in America. I have to say it. She has been there through it all. Through every single experience of my life, she has been there. Through joy, death, laughter, you name it, Lola has been there. She's been consistent, and I would probably write pages if I went on gushing about her. But without further ado, I'm going to bring her out from the guest room or the green room. She's a bit of a giggler, so please bear with her, okay? All right, here she goes. Hi, Ryle. Hi, beloved Nelson. It is so good to see you all. Hang in there with me. Guest storyteller coming on right now. Hello, Miss Lola.
Hi.
Hi, Miss Good.
Good morning. What an
Good morning.
introduction.
How are you, my dear?
Oh, wow. I'm good. You had me laughing in the guest room. I was just dying. Like, oh my God, it's too much. Oh, good morning. It's an awesome Tuesday. I'm so happy to join and be here and share with you. And, hopefully you take something away from it and, it affects your life in a positive way in one way
Yes,
or the other.
I am very sure it will. So you know what? Let's jump right in as we normally do. Jump right in, and we're going to start with your first story.
Okay. All right. Well, without no further ado, I have a lot of facial expressions. So, bear with me, craziness.
Okay.
Um, So my first story actually is, I was probably about between 11 and 12. And, this is back in Nigeria. If anybody doesn't know, I grew up in Nigeria and then migrated here, at some point in my teenage years. So it just so happens that one day I woke up and I had issues with my eyes,
Wow.
both of my eyes. And what was wrong with them was that they were red. They were red for no reason, red, itchy. kind of looked like they were pink eye, and at first my mom, my parents thought they were pink eye and, thinking, okay, let's take her to the doctor, get it checked out and everything. And, they tried their best, went to a local doctor, went to, the one of the biggest eye teaching hospital in Ibadan at that time. That was one of the biggest cities. And it just, I think at the end of the day, they gave me an eye drop and I kept using it. The eye drop ran out and it was just like, okay, nothing is going on. And in addition to my eyes being red, I had a lot of, I guess, eye sand or eye boogers, for lack of a better term. And they was so bad that I would wake up in the morning and could not open my eyes. I would wake up in the morning and the only way to get my eyes open is, find my way to the kitchen or the bathroom and put open the warm water and put the warm water up to my eyes and wait for the eye boogers to dissolve before, break it apart a little bit until I could open my eyes. And, this went on for probably about a year and a half. And the whole time, my mom obviously, being a strong African woman with very well grounded faith in God, she was praying all the while, never missed a day in church, always going to Bible study, night vigil, you have it. It doesn't matter where it's happening, we're there.
Wow.
So, to cut the long story short, my mom, I had spoken with her yesterday and she clarified the story for me because I thought we were going to all the different churches because of my eyes. But she was like, oh no, we were just going because this is what I love to do. I love to be in church. She was like, no, I was praying for you myself. And she was like, when she was younger, she thought going to different churches was was going to solve it. But as she got deeper in her faith, she realized, hey, I'm just going to lay my hands and anoint her or anoint, basically she took it upon herself to say, you know what, my prayer is enough, and that was outstanding to me because, everybody is always looking for somebody else, not everybody, but there are some people, sometimes we look for other people to teach us and guide us and solve our problem for us. But when you take matters into your own hand and you say, me and you, God, we're going to figure this out today, that is just something so powerful about that, knowing the power that God has given to you. So, she said, every day I just wake up, I lay my hands on you, I put anointing oil, and I say, God, I did not born my daughter this way. We have gone to through every avenue to make sure that whatever is going on with her eyes is fixed, is corrected. And mind you, that was just a problem. I could see fine. I had 40/40 vision.
So the issue was just the buggers that would, come around in the mornings and stuff.
Yes, it was just in the morning. I mean, it didn't happen during the day. It was just when I went to sleep and woke up. But the pink eye was all day. Wow. And I remember they used to call me Chinese eyes because my eyes were so tiny, that, from all the itchiness and stuff. So my eyes are already slanted. So just imagine it being like this.
Oh, you mean like mine?
Yeah, kind of like that. So, long story short, it was just one day that it happened. I was actually after we migrated to America. I was about 11 or 12. That my mom said she just woke up one day and realized that my eyes were clear. And that was it. She was like, I just kept praying and hoping and believing that God was going to, perform a miracle. And he absolutely certainly did. It wasn't, right away. It wasn't instant. Whatever happened, It cleared up all on its own. We stopped using medicine. We stopped using eye drops, like, um, months before. And, it was just like, and I remember when I spoke with her, she was like, I don't even remember if I said, God, thank you for this miracle.
Wow.
It was just one of those things where, like, it was like it happened. And she was like, oh, great. Moving on. I mean, obviously she said thank you plenty of times to God, but it's just she doesn't remember sitting down and specifically saying, God, I've been praying for this for so long. Thank you for making it happen. Like
Right.
it was like night and day. Everything just cleared. Everything stopped. No eye boogers that kept my eyes closed. And having me feel my way to the bathroom or the kitchen to perform my morning rituals, if you will.
Right.
So that was the end of my first story, and that was one of the first impact on my life that said, wow, God is amazing. Just because, like, you tried modern medicine, which there's nothing wrong with trying, but they couldn't really do anything for her. So she's just like, I'm just gonna, go after God until this thing, works out. And she did. So my next story, this is also back in Nigeria. This is all probably around the same time, probably around between 11 and 12. I would say probably closer to 12. There was a time in the area that we were living in where robbers, armed robbers were just very prevalent, and I remember that, before, there was a chief or Alaji, somebody people know prominent. I mean, it didn't make any sense.
No, let's clarify that, because Alaji means somebody, we normally would say an Alaji is someone who is rich. It's an Islamic word, but it's just an affluent, very rich person. And we would just call them Alaji, right? Okay.
Yes, but he was an actual, I mean, let me stop and say, based on what I believed, I thought he was an actual Alaji based on his Islam, and that, he's done the Islamic travel to
Mecca and all that.
To Mecca and things like that. So that was because I remember, I don't think we ever saw his wives, like they had the full,
hijab and all that.
Hijab, hair, face covered and everything.
Right. Okay, so I got it. Okay.
Yes. So, thanks for clarifying that. But, with my little knowledge at that point, it was just basically our neighborhood had very few houses. It was more of like developing areas. And a lot of our neighbors were just renters. So it was like, houses, like 4 flat houses, like, flats, 2 bedrooms, top, bottom, back, front, and then a bungalow at the bottom and things like that. And, like it really was more of a neighborhood of renters, everybody, maybe the owner would live on the first floor and everybody else was renting the rest of the flats. But this was one of the first people that actually built their own house, and they are the occupants of that house.
Right.
So, after he moved in, all of a sudden, robbers decided that, this is the place to be, and before that, we always hear stories, but never close enough to really think like, oh, is this real or is this not real? So long story short, we started hearing stories about, armed robbers coming to visit him. They call it visit, coming to visit him and literally leaving letters under, we had a compound and gated compounds in each houses. And they'll leave a letter at the gate, not knocking, just leaving a letter. And you wake up in the morning and you open a letter and they're like, hello, we're your fellow armed robbers. And, please expect us next week, Tuesday, and have our packages ready.
Oh my God. I have to say though, this is one of those things that can only happen in Nigeria. This is a Nigerian thing where an armed robber is so bold. They actually are like, yeah, here's a letter. It's a formal introduction. I'm the armed robber. Please tell the police if you can, but have my money ready.
We're still gonna come. Like, it doesn't matter, And I don't know the dynamics of that time well enough to speculate how well the cops were, or what was going on. But what I remembered was, the first time we heard about it, we all just kind of like, okay, it's a one-time thing. And then it became kind of like a weekly thing, and it wasn't just his house. Then they started going to every other house in the neighborhood. It was like a new discovery, and they just had to scavenge the neighborhood. Now, during this time, my dad was, had traveled, and, it was just me, my mom, me, my brother, and my sister. So really, it's a house full of women. And oh, what happened? Hello?
Yes. Hi. I thought
I don't know what happened. Something else. Yeah, something else opened up. I don't know what happened. Apologies for that. Okay. So basically, they were, going from house to after, visiting Elijah. I believe they visited him a couple of times. But what I remember was, during that period, the only thing that my mom would do if she heard, anything suspect outside, we had the burglars on the windows and stuff, but our front door is easy enough to break through. It was glass and everything like that.
Right.
Tempered glass. So my mom would just wake us up. It doesn't matter what time it is. It could be 3:00 in the morning. She'll wake us up, and grab I don't know how to say English. We call it agogo in Nigeria, but it's like a church bell, like a miniature church bell. Ring. And she starts walking around, and we're trailing behind her, and she's ringing the bell, like, hey, we are here. And she starts, praying, praising God, singing praise and worship. I mean, this would go on for hours.
And you guys would be shouting to let them know you were home.
I'm telling you, just singing praise and worship. Hallelujah, glory to God. Good morning. We are here. This is the day the Lord has made, and we will rejoice and be glad in it. All of that.
Wow.
And walking around, with our Bible and the bell, and just, and not just in a living room, walking. Sometimes it would just, something would just prompt her to go to the kitchen. We'll follow her, down the little hallway to the kitchen, come my way around into each bedroom, going around,
oh my God.
I want to see. But at the same time, I was terrified because I'm I've never been in that situation. So, and only watched it on TV. So I'm expecting the worst. People are going to come in. I don't know if their face are going to be covered. They're going to have guns and, machetes and whatever. And
wow.
So terrified. And at the same time, I'm all right, we just going to pray because that's all we know. We're just going to pray. We're just going to pray. And the good part of the story is, as much as they went from house to house, they never, ever, never thought to come across the door, not even a knock, not anything. You would hear whispers and you just boom, boom, just start going and start praying. And my mom is starts speaking in tongues, and it's just like it's
Yo, that tongue
from
must
there.
have scared them. They probably didn't understand it. They were like, yeah, there's a crazy woman in this house.
Yes,
Wow.
basically, there. At that point, I just did what had to be done. But being older and thinking back to it, I was like, you know what? We didn't even like, we're thinking, okay, we want to deter them, but at the same time, our preparation was our Bible and our bell. Like nobody thought, oh, grab a knife, grab a stick, grab a bat, grab something. We didn't grab anything. Bible and the bell and our voices, and I praise God because we never experienced, any traumatic event as a result of that. And God kept us safe, and I praise his name for his mercies and grace.
What would you tell your younger self about these two stories? What would be the thing you would have taken away from it? It's obviously based in faith, but what's the gotcha part of it?
I mean, what I would tell anybody is,
No, your younger
prayer
self.
is everything. My younger self is it is the same thing. Prayer is everything. God gave us the power to speak what we want into existence, and if you believe it strong enough, it will happen. You just have to persevere and wait for God's time, because
And the fact that prayer is key, and you did say action.
Yes, prayer is the key and action is the door. The Bible says, faith without works is dead. So
right.
yes, you can have faith, you can pray, but you have to put it into action. And however you put it into action is your own way. But with the example of the robbers, we were praying, we were singing praise and worship, but it wasn't just like quietly praying and saying, God, don't let, hiding in one corner. We're here, we're singing, and we're praying, and we're like, we're not sleeping. You are not coming in today. Stay away. That was what we do, and for us, by God's grace.
And African women, African mothers are so strong. Just to say a little bit of it, like my sister just said that too. She said one of her comments was, Zoe Baraka, you remember how Mama used to look outside her window at 3 a.m. and shout, "Who's there?" Like, and she feared that thing putting us all in danger. She had a gun, and she would literally fire in the air and say, "I'm here. Who is there?"
Wow.
I tip my hat off to
yes.
every mother out there who is fearless. But also, like, Hamid just said, the power of prayer and faith, we are just soaked in it. Not the way, Western Christianity may think it is supposed to be done, but we've always been prayerful and we've always had faith.
Yeah.
That is such a powerful story. Yeah. Wow. And that whole thing, prayer is key and action is the door. I have never heard it said like that before. Wow.
Yes, it is. Those are not my words. I heard it over the weekend, and I was just like, wow, that resonated with me. I was just like, wow, yes. I've never thought about it that way before, but yes, it's a good reminder, that, hey, you can sit and pray, but God also gave you the tools to do the work, to where it goes and what you want to do.
Wow. Thank you so much for sharing these stories. Do you have a closing story or no?
Well, I have a closing of, I think we've had a lot of fun and laughs, but this is a funny story and it's very, very silly. So I kept it as my last story. I was about 8 years old.
Okay, yeah,
I'm
it is
laughing
funny.
already. See, I was about 8 years old, and no warning or anything, and my mom
Mhm.
goes, "You're making dinner tonight," and I was
And you were
just
8
like,
and you're gonna make dinner.
"Yes, 8 years old." And I look at her and I'm
Oh,
like,
African mother.
she's just kidding. And I'm just like praying, like playing over. And she's like, yeah, no, you're making dinner. She's like, so you've seen me make eba. It's called cassava flakes in English.
Mhm.
Um, swallow. And she's like, you're gonna do it tonight. I mean, it's not like, hey, come watch me do it and talk me through it. It was just like throw me in the deep end and we're gonna do it together. And she's like, yeah, put the water on the fire, when the water boils, right? And I'm like, okay, and I'm like, is she serious? 8 years old. And like I put the water on fire, put in the water boiled, I put in the cassava flakes. She gave me the roller and I started putting, mashing it together and into form. And the funny part of the story was like I was sobbing because I just thought like this
Well
was
done.
I was 8 years old. I wanted to go play with my dolls or watch Barney or Sesame Street or whatever. That's right. I was 8 years old. Still love Barney and Sesame Street. Um, and that's all I wanted to do. And I'm just like, I didn't do anything wrong. Why is this lady punishing me? What's a punishment? You know? And I just remember like the whole time, like she's like, it doesn't matter. Like we're gonna eat however you make it, we're gonna eat it. And I remember sitting there and just being like, well, I'm just gonna make it anyhow, being me
Uh-huh.
being stubborn and rebellious. And I'm crying, and she's like, "Yeah, we're gonna eat that ever with your tears in it. Yeah, like it's gonna be good."
Oh my God.
And I mean, I did it. I made it through that grueling performance. But the thing about it was I'm so grateful for that time because obviously after that first experience it was easy for me to do, and I
Mhm.
actually grew to love cooking. And um, Mom, if I've never said thank you because
Oh, yes, no, but really, thank you to all the African mothers out there. Uh, the theme of this story, all the three stories have centered around your mother. Um, and she has been such a powerful person in your life, indeed, in a lot of people's lives, in my life. She is so strong. And it's so reminiscent of all African mothers, at least the ones I have had the pleasure of knowing,
yes,
all over Africa, east, west, south, north, you name it. They are just strong. The moment an African woman becomes a mother, her demeanor is different. It
yeah,
doesn't matter where she finds herself on the face of the earth. I mean, she lives in America now, and I dare any armed robber to try anything in and she would regress back into an African mother. I know it. I just know it.
oh
So no,
yeah,
thank you, Mom. We truly appreciate you. I guess today is just to honor her also because I know she's done a lot. A lot.
absolutely,
So
absolutely.
thank you, Mom. Wow.
Yes, yes. I am so grateful. Yes, I'm
Wow.
grateful. So
Wow.
yeah,
Thank
so
you.
that was it. My husband thanks you.
And my
Otherwise,
goddaughter thanks me. And I take all the thanks. So thank you. Thank you, everyone. Just so our audience know, if they gave us 3 hours, we could go on and on.
yes, we
This is
could.
it. So
Yes,
we do
we could.
apologize in advance, but I'm going to try to make it as short as possible. Lola, thank you. I truly appreciate you coming on here and sharing journeys down memory lane. The funny thing is, every African that hears these stories would have something to say about some of these stories. I mean, all of the stories you share, and that's the beauty of African stories. it's a shared experience that you cannot take away from. We've all had that, either uncle or auntie or ourselves, that either had a sickness that, went around to churches and God miraculously healed. We've all experienced armed robbery in one way or another. Thank God we're still living. And for every African girl child, we've all had that experience where you're 6, 7, 8 years old and your mommy's like, yeah, you're cooking today at 8 years old. I know I've had my fair share of that. So thank you for walking us down the highways of memory. I truly, truly appreciate these stories, and I will be laughing all day, believe it or not. Listen, guys, I truly, truly appreciate you hanging in there with us. Lynn, Laura, beloved Nelson, Ryle, Yidana, Ralia, thank you so much, guys, for hanging in there. Those of you that I couldn't see, greetings to you. I know people are going to be watching in Kenya. People are going to be watching in Nigeria, Ghana, of course, and all over the world. I truly, truly appreciate you guys just coming on here each and every Tuesday morning and just listening to us tell stories. We're going somewhere with this, so stick with us. It's going to be a fun ride this year. Next week, we have Mrs. Ryle Adam coming on, a storyteller from Kenya. Yes, we're going global now, Yeah. Yeah, so it's going to be fun. I'm just going to warn you right now. She has amazing stories. Get out your Kleenex because she's probably going to make you cry. Okay. Her stories are so powerful and so, anyway, I just want you to wait and then come on next week, Tuesday, and you will hear more and learn more about her. Just before we go, Ralia said, thank you for sharing, Lola. So thank you for sharing.
Thanks for having me. Hi, Ralia.
All right, Chica, we're going to sign off now. Guys, thank you again. Once again, my name is Zoe Baraka. This has been To My Younger Self, coming to you live on the Dear Daughter page. Have a wonderful, wonderful time today as you go about your business. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.